Why are we so afraid of sex? I've noticed quite a big shift in the way that we think about sex, and to the point that we've been experiencing a regression of how we view sex. We've especially seen this regression in younger generations. We're seeing this with younger generations that are identifying with puritanical thoughts. They view sex as something vulgar, dirty, and something that you should be ashamed of, and something that you should not be talking about in public. Exploring your sexuality is part of growing up, and it has been portrayed for many years in shoujo manga. And no, the shoujo manga reader does not need to be shielded or protected from sex because it's completely normal. During season 3 of Kimi to Loke, we saw a rise of videos poking fun of Kasehaya's interest in exploring his sexuality, and people just resorted to calling him Freaky Haya for that. I think what bothered me more about this discourse was the infantilization that we saw with Sawako. Have we shifted so far to the right that we're starting to see women and girls as dirty if they have any sort of sexual desire? I'm being completely serious about this. Have we shifted that far? When I recently read Sand Chronicles, a series that was published in the early 2000s, meaning that this is 20 years old, I was shocked, but pleasantly shocked to see condoms in a shoujo manga. Because again, teens being curious about sex is not abnormal. And in this day and age, we really need to be working forward to destigmatizing sex once again, and also encouraging the practice of safe sex. Because if we start viewing sex as something that you should be ashamed of, something that should not be talked about, you will start seeing a rise of teenage pregnancies because people are too afraid to talk about these things. Don't believe me? I've already lived through the rise of teenage pregnancy in the 2000s. I saw classmates get pregnant because they went behind their parents' back because sex was seen as something shameful. And yes, even good girls have sexual desire. That is also very normal. I do hope that more modern day shoujos destigmatize and normalize being curious about sex, because it is 100% a normal thing to experience as a teen. And it is also part of growing up. And this is coming from an adult who now identifies as aromantic and asexual, aro ace. If anyone thinks that sex is something that should not be in shoujo manga, you need to push back on that. There is no room for puritanical thoughts and calls for censorship for something that is normal. And maybe this is your sign to read more coming to age shoujo stories.